Welcome to Sendblox. These are your how-to guides how to set up Sendblox and get the most out of them. My name is John Roberts and I will be helping you walk through this step by step so that you can configure Sendblox to make the best of them. If you remember our last video, we've just finished creating our two templates. As we explained before, the text in the template is auto-generated, so this is part of the campaign section. So before we can create our campaign, we need to make sure that we have some data that we can actually set up. So we can try to do that through part of the campaign builder, or we can go into account preferences, integrations, and select our data sources. So in this case, I'm going to take the integration route, and there are many options you can choose, and they all work as simply as this. In fact, some work simpler. In this case, I have a pre-made set of data, so I'm going to click on my Google Sheets, and once it's connected, you'll see it's gone green, and there's a disconnect button if you ever need to remove it. You click on the tile to bring up the modal for Google Sheets to navigate through to find your content. There's a search function and a selection of which drives you want to search from. Now in this case, we want to go to our brand demo client, and I already have a contact list that's made for this client. We're going to click on that. It sees our Google Sheets, we select that, and then we click Analyze and Save. Give it a second to read through your Google Sheet and understand it. It is not pulling any of the data from the Google Sheet into Sendblox. It is merely understanding the structure of it. Schema, analyze and save. It's using advanced AI to sort the mapping. Now that we have some data to work with, we need to start our campaign. So head back over to campaigns, create first campaign, and again we will have multiple types of campaigns that you can create over time. For now, we're only doing email. Let's give the campaign a name, Pod Brew Outreach. Give it a description. Promo of the new store. And then we want to select any teams that it may be associated to. Depending on your plan, you may not have teams. This is why it's an optional. But for others, there will be select teams you can join. Now, tags are a good practice to add in. So, promo, new store, Japan. Let's go on to the next step. It will show you whatever available data sources are already connected inside your Sendblox. We only connected the Google Drive in this particular case, but if you had more than one, you'll be able to select from one of those. So let's select the Google Drive. You can now preview all the data below. This is only a snapshot at this stage, but it helps you understand if you've selected the correct ones. You can add any pre-filters that you may want to apply now that you don't want to show up in the next level, but you could also just skip it and we can adjust them then. So go to the next step, and then you'll be asked a couple of questions. What do you want to use this campaign for? Cold outreach, lead nurture, retention, onboarding? We're going to do nurture. Base template. So these are the templates we created before. You can see we've got the Pod Brew Simple and the promo template. So we want to start with the promo template. And then how many stages do you want your campaign to have? Okay, we're going to go for one for the moment. The overview page will make sure that you've selected everything as you imagined. It's an email, you've got a contact list, you've got multiple recipients, it's a nurture stage program. Go create campaign. You'll now see a big green box on the side of the campaigns list. And in the main page, you'll have your contacts. In this case, we've only got 4. But it is possible to have many more, especially if you have a CRM with a large data set. To give you an idea of how that might feel or look, I have a demo large list. So this is a very large list, and it will keep loading, keep loading, and keep loading. So you do what you see is what you get. And the objective of the audience section at the top is to filter down your contact list to the level that you need to send emails, because not all contacts would be applicable. So let's navigate the page quickly. You have campaigns, you have your campaign itself. You may have multiple in this left-hand side column. You have your audience. This is who you're selling it to or sending it to. You have your sequences. We will come back to that. And we have manual review if you choose to keep this on or off. You have performance and you have settings. We'll cover each as we go. Under audience, you have a few things. You can refresh the data at any point, and there's a start button at the top right to start your campaign. Filter will filter the data. You will have a drop down to select between companies and contacts, or the different tabs inside your Google Sheet, or whatever might be applicable to your CRM. This is how you'll select your data sets. On the far right is any visible columns. They cover all of these columns along the top here. And these columns can be turned on and off. We can also do things like change the order. So you can see email is number 4, and maybe I want it number 1. So it's the first thing I see in the list. This is making absolutely no changes to the underlying Google Sheet. It's purely playing with the view that you see. If you want to hide certain things from the list, you can. And it would be very easy to do so. You can also hide the ones that have been unselected, or search for any of the ones in the list that you may want to return. That is purely used to hide any data that may be not needed at this stage when filtering. The big piece is in the filter dropdown. From here, you can obviously search whatever you need in terms of filtering type. What you'll notice next to each data set is the word select, boolean, number, text, multi-select, and so forth. Each of the data types has a different way of selecting them. So, for example, if I hit city, it's going to give me a select type. And I want all the contacts that are in London. Or in our case, we may need them in another location. For example. So let's choose London. The next data set we want is we want to select a different type. So maybe we want to select by a Boolean. This gives us a true or false scenario. So we want to see the ones that are true, not the ones that are false. Finally, we may have something like a number. So we want to add a number. And we can add that into the list. There's currently none that support 12. So we'll remove this filter for now. There may be another selection that we want, which is a multi-select. This will give you what's inside your system, and you can check more than one item. And it will select accordingly. We can remove all filters and take ourselves back to a state that we want. What you set the filtrated state to in here is what will be the list that you're going to send to. It may be advisable to create multiple campaigns to set slightly different campaigns to each region. For example, if you want to send one to the United States, different one to the UK, and a different one to Japan, you can create multiple campaigns from the same data set, but with different targeted audience information, very quickly and very easily. To make life simpler for us, we're going to go back to our mini demo set. I want you to pay close attention. We have first name, last name, email address, contact number, organization name, their address, their website, and then any notes that we may have applied to their accounts. They may be different on each level. It is important to understand this, as the more information you can provide Sendblox, the more unique and the more one-to-one the message will be. Let me point your attention to Sarah Jones at the bottom. If I was trying to sell Sarah Jones a new McLaren car, it would already know that she's already a customer and bought a new 750S and is already upgrading to the new W1 hypercar that McLaren has just launched in satin black and gold. It will take that information, and when it communicates, it will communicate that it knows this, and therefore make it feel like it's talking to Sarah Jones and not past her or generically. So this is really important. So the more information you can put into your CRM, the better. Although it's not a deal breaker if yours is sparse or a little bit messy. The AI will search everything about this user as it creates its email. It will even go through to the URL address and understand their company or even some local posts that they've created on their social media, and it may use those as references. However, it will never use any information that would be considered private or bad or medical. It won't pass that information on. It only uses information that would be a safe leverage. Once you have your data set filtered, we need to then set the sequencing or the state machine. What this means is what actually happens in the campaign. So we've understood the who's receiving the email and the audiences. Now we need to understand the how and the what. So we have our first stage, so we can call that promo. And we can choose the relevant template. We already have promo selected, but we could choose simple if that was more appropriate. We can also choose what type of email this is meant to be. This selection will prompt the AI to be more leaning towards the objective that you're intending. So obviously, if it's about brand awareness, it's not going to try and sell you the latest hot new thing. It will try to be more aware of our brand and what you should know about it. Maybe it's something to do with its morals or new events or whatever else you might have chosen. In this case, we just want engagement. This is where you see the sender list. Now, everybody receives one, which is your hello at, but later on you will be able to have multiple, and it will cycle through them, every user receiving a different email recipient. This is used to help prevent your email addresses being classed as spam and keeping them in the inbox where they matter most. The next inbox here, and you can use this to make it as long as you like, is where you can pass information to the AI to focus on, or what we call AI instructions. And we can outline anything that we've wanted to do. For example, open the email with a joke, give it a factoid, or just focus on selling our hot new hot cross buns. Whatever it might be, this would be where you need to add that information, that extra bit of direction. Again, we've got the signature. So we can say this email's from John Roberts and I'm the sales team manager. And we can then add any links that we may want to send them to. In this case, we're doing engagement, so we don't really have anywhere that we want to send them to. But we might do if we were trying to make a direct sell. So we add the link, call the CTA what we wish, and then paste the URL. And in doing so, the AI will also research the end destination that you're trying to sell the user to learn about it and use it as part of its language to communicate. For now, we're removing that. You can then see how many active users are at each stage. We've only got the one stage, but it would be just as easy to add a secondary stage, and in doing so, opens up a bit more information. So we can call the second one call back, and we can choose a different email and a different purpose. You can say it's retention in this case. Same contact, and you can give it same information. And we can say we want the same person reaching out. Now, what are we actually doing here? Well, this is why I called it a state machine. It's not a lead funnel in the traditional sense. If the user receives the promo email and reads it, then we want to change it to move the user to receive the second email. However, if they don't see it, we want to be able to send them the email again in the future until they do see it, because we think our message is valuable and shouldn't be lost and missed. So we can control that when we have multiple campaign stages. And this is done through this middle part, which is called the if statement. It opens up a separate panel and we can go through it. Now, the easiest way to understand it is the sequence logic preview at the bottom. I want you to wait for 2 days. If no reply, then loop on step 1. Now, how that's controlled is I want you to wait, so you can set the number of units, days, minutes, weeks, months, and as appropriate. Then the state, so maybe not no reply, that's probably a little bit ambitious. Let's just say if opened, and then you can do nothing if you wish. But in this case, we want you to repeat loop 1 if the statement has not been met. In this case, if the person has opened it, move on to callback. If they have not, wait 2 days and then repeat stage 1, which is the promo. Now we can choose to do that indefinitely or kind of wind it down over a period of time. So we can say do that 4 times and then end, so that we don't become too annoying. We can save those changes, and that ends up being the statement that triggers between these 2 elements. So when the user receives promo template and they open it, they will then shortly receive the Podbrew simple email, and this might be an invitation, for example. Okay, now let's understand manual review. Before we can do that, we need to understand what the 2 states are for manual review. We have pending review, approved emails, and archived. So when you are pending review, this will bring up a list of generated emails for you to manually agree that can be moved to send. It's a gatekeeping mechanism for those who want a little bit more control and don't quite trust the AI to do everything right. Approved is what has been sent so that you can see what's left. And then archived is when you can basically block an email address from sending, saying do not send it. It's not the same as unsubscribe. We do that separately. Performance is where you'll be able to see how those emails are performed. So total sent, average rate opened, click through, meaning CTAs, or buttons that you have on your page or links, number of people that replied or opened, how many of those emails have bounced, didn't reach their intended target, those who complained that it was spam, dropped, unsubscribed. And when you have enough data, you can generate a mini report that can help you tell you to prove your data set. So if you have a lot of bounced emails, it might ask you to go and clean it up a little bit because a number of the emails are dead now. However, if things are going well, you will also see the send date information here and any major problems below. So let's go to the settings, which is equally important. So you can see all of our information and our tags that we've saved earlier on. One of the first things you need to decide is if you would want to manually review the emails generated. So no means auto send everything, I don't need to see it. And you can see the option then gets hidden. There is no gatekeeping. It will just go from create to send. This is perfect for small agencies that care about volume and noise and less about the accuracy of its words. In this case, we want to see it, so we hit save. The next choice, we might want to choose our preferred language that it should be written in. US English, UK English, French, German, even down to Czech, Hungarian, Hindi, Japanese, Korean. We have a wide range of languages it can write into. So in this case, we're going to go UK English as part of our charm. As you can see at the top right here, it says the data connection we have, which is the one we set up earlier. Now, if we had more than one connected, we can then select between them. If we had multiple data sheets, we could select from a drop down below here. But for now, we've only got the one data set, which is clean. This is around where you may have teams. If you have a team, this may not be applicable to you. Then you can choose the sending time zone associated to your account. From this, you can choose which area this applies to. London, UK, US, accordingly. Then you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which are the days of the week you wish for this to be going out on. So it won't send emails on Saturday and Sunday in this situation, because we want to capture people in the weekday. What time in those days do you want to be sending your email? So in this case, we want to say London, GMT. We want to go from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, between 9 and we can go to 6. Below, you'll see your warm-up email. Now, when you first start, you have 0 email sent. And so that your email doesn't get flagged as spam, we warm up your email address slowly. So the first 100 move slowly. Then they speed up as you add more and more. This teaches the email providers that your email address isn't spam and is something that the end user should read and pay attention to. So it starts at 0. Everything you need now is here. Let's start campaign. As you can see, it says the last date it was changed or modified in any shape or form. This includes anything that was created and written. Running means it started, paused and stopped. And down here you'll start to see the counter begin. If I go back to manual review, what we should see shortly is it says generating 4 emails. It is then taking the information from all of the other areas we've already set up, the brand kit, the email template, and the purpose of our company, and the brand messaging to generate 4 emails that are appropriate to that end user. It is creating a one-of-one email that's unique to that customer, while still retaining the overall message and objective. So we'll give it a moment or two to complete. As you can see, now our emails have generated, and let's take a look at it, how exactly it's done that. So let's go back to our audience to get a clearer picture. We have 4 different examples of customers in this case. And one of them I want to point out to you is a clear note regarding their McLaren 750S and that they were planning to upgrade to a W1. Okay, not very contextual to this particular data point or pod brew overall. However, it just shows the diversity of notes. Where the first customer is talking about working with clients like Google, Apple, Deloitte, Publicis, and I wanted to just show you the range of information put into your notes and how that might be used. So we go back over to our manual review, and we can see here that there's a couple of different emails from the first stage of the sequence, and then the second stage has a different email template design, which we have here. So when we come over, you can see the second stage looks different, but still in keeping in theme of what we have. And it says, Kyoto's new pod brew just for you, Sarah. Hi Sarah, knowing your appreciation for finely crafted experiences, we wanted to share some exciting news from pod brew. We are delighted to announce the opening of our newest store in the beautiful city of Kyoto, Japan. This launch has inspired a new line of drinks carefully crafted to reflect the serene beauty and rich traditions of Kyoto. Each blend offers a unique sensory experience, honoring the craft and coffee in truly international way. We believe these new offerings, much like your thoughtful design of your McLaren, embodies the commitment to quality and quiet moments to enjoy. I hope you'll find them as balanced and smooth as we do. So as you can see, we've pulled that a bit of information through. We are talking to their sense of craft and taste, and even up in the place, the kind of preview text, we are referencing their McLaren there as well. We noticed that your discerning taste, much like your McLaren 750S acquisition, thought that you might appreciate something special. The next customer you think would be talking about McLaren's as well, if it was a more traditional email builder, but it's not. As you can see, their information is different. I was really interested to read about Viato's vision for effortless, limitless travel experiences, because it's a travel-based company. Hi Jacqueline, I thought really interested to read about Viato's vision for effortless, limitless travel experiences, making every journey an advantage for your customers. That thoughtful approach to decision making made me think of you to appreciate a quiet moment from our latest venue. We're delighted to share the opening of our newest pub brew store in the heart of Kyoto, Japan. This space is crafted for purpose, designed to offer calm, intentional retreat amidst the city's vibrant energy, honouring the crafted and of special coffee. Inspired by Kyoto's rich traditions, we also crafted a new line of drinks. These offerings feature balanced, smooth profiles and notes, delicate floral aromas, and subtle roasted undertones, designed for quiet moments and connection. What you can see there is, again, we pulled through a little bit of information from the user's profile. The more we give room for the customer's information, the more will be stated. But nothing's ever offensive, nothing's private that's leaked publicly. It's just a recognition of we know who you are and what you like or what history you have with the company. And we play that back to the customer under a framework called Show Me, Know Me. And we use that as an underpinning kind of thought to our AI agents. We don't want to just craft an email, we want to have one that connects and resonates with the customer. Showing that we know you and we know what you're about and what you care about. And we're showing that we know you because we've been following your social medias or we've been following your history with the company, and we will use that to play that back to you. So as and when we give you a piece of information, such as the new Kyoto store, it will reflect that more. In the follow-up email is slightly different. I haven't provided any real direction to the second email, and it reads up as a follow email, but a little bit differently. Following our previous conversation about Mito's brand clarity, I was thinking about your new domain, emotive.com. Serves as a cornerstone for our mission to help teams move faster and to reduce waste. We believe a well-managed domain is like so on and so forth. Many businesses find the check-in so on. So as you can kind of see, so this is what it takes to create a beautiful email sequence. It's very simple, very quick, but each one is personalized and can go at scale. What you can also see down here is we can turn it between light and dark mode, mobile view, and full desktop to get a full preview of what that would feel like for the recipient company. And what that would feel like for the recipient company. You can also regenerate any of these emails if you wish by simply hitting the button, and it will rewrite the email if you don't like what it says. When you're ready to move forward, you can simply approve it. It will then move over to the outbox and it's waiting to be sent. Once this actually sends, and this will be based on the schedules that you set in the settings and the time zone, it will then send those out in a safe way that it doesn't damage your domain and within your quota limits. So you'll be able to see this move across accordingly. We'll leave that to be for the moment. If we head back across, maybe this email and this client is not one that we want to speak further with. So I can hit delete, and it does two things. It moves it over to archive to say take it out of the queue, but it does a secondary thing as well where it will move the name out of being contacted from this particular campaign. If I ever want to bring them back in or regenerate, I can say reinstate content, and it will remove it from archive and bring them back in here. And it will pull them back into the regeneration queue, which you can see is now happening above. And it's creating a new email to make sure that it's aligned with any changes that may have happened to the campaign prior to or after that they've had been archived. And it will generate new content from there. Once you're ready, you can start to see the performances of this campaign. You'll be able to see how many have been sent, what days it was sent, what emails or contacts are causing problems. And once you've had a bit more data going through, you can generate a mini report to understand how to improve your contact list to prevent any further bounces or bad reputation from happening, and doing a minor cleanup to achieve that. So we try to help you as much as we can. But overall, you'll be able to see sends, average, click open rate, click-through rate, total replies, bounces, spam, dropped, and unsubscribed. All the basic metrics you would need to know whether your emails are being successful. Settings we've already spoken about. So this is the general overview on the page, but one last thing I would like to point out, as you can see, the warm-up process has happened. We've sent 2 emails and it started to count up that 100. It will move to maximum velocity of sending emails once it goes past the warm-up stages. It will gradually go from the 100, which is the initial warm-up, to tell the email clients that it's safe to receive these and these are not spam. Then over time, it will start to quickly increase the allotted amount of emails that it will send at once through the schedule until we meet the maximum velocity of your account. If forever you need to pause the campaign, you can hit the button at the top or stop it completely. So the controls are always in your hands if you need it. You can approve emails to be approved by batch as a group if you're happy with them overall, or you can approve them one by one, or you can just go through them and click, whichever is your preference. So all the controls are needed to fully automate the process and have a clear view of what you need to do regarding safety of the emails. However, if you choose to turn manual review off and hit save, what it will do is it will bypass the manual review process. It will take that out of the sequence and it will then generate emails automatically from the sequence and then send them based on your setting schedule. In this case, Monday to Friday between 9 and 6 London time. If you want a fully automated experience. If you ever want to bring it back and to intercept, you can bring it back to a manual process by simply toggling it and hitting save. It's worth making a further small note regarding language. We support both British English and US English because there is a difference. And we do also support all the major languages: French, German, Italian, Spanish, Dutch, Swiss, Portuguese, both Brazilian and native Portugal, Norwegian, Finnish, Danish, Polish, Czech, Hungarian, Romanian, Greek, Ukrainian, Turkish, Russian, Mandarin, Cantonese, Hindi, Japanese and Korean. Of course, there are many more languages in the world, but many of those languages also span multiple other countries. So we believe with that list, you are able to serve a very large, wide audience set.